Perfect. 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 Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? Back in your life. It is Monday, February 17th, 2025. February 17th, 2025. It is another Monday, and that means it's time to once again open the kitchen and open for service as we are here live with Steve's Kitchen here on the Around the Point Network YouTube channel, as well over on the Twitch. If you are new to the YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen, please, oh, please hit that subscribe button down below. Give this stream, video, whatever you want to call it, a big old thumbs up and share with all your friends on social media. Let me know if you can hear me also in the chat. I just want to know, just to be on the safe side of things. But I hope all of you had a wonderful weekend. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. I hope that you all had a wonderful Valentine's Day, whether you celebrated on Friday, whether you decided, hey, you know what, we couldn't make it work on Friday, so we're going to do it on the weekend. We're going to celebrate Valentine's Day on the weekend. But really, to be honest, you don't really need to show your significant other that you appreciate them on one day. You need to show that person that you appreciate that individual all 365 days of the year. But I do hope, again, that you all had a wonderful day. From my experience working in kitchens, I will tell you this. Valentine's Day is the second most busiest nights in any restaurant. The second busiest night. You want to know what the first night is? The first busiest night for any restaurant? Mother's Day. So now you know. But now you know. Yes. What's going on? We got We got Alan the Working Man. We do also have Keith in the chat as well. What's up, good brothers? NXT was good. Grand Slam, not so much. Hope Buddy makes a great recovery. You good, Steve? We can hear you. I appreciate that, boys. I appreciate that. But again, I hope all of you out there, celebrated and all that fun stuff. What's going on? What's going on, Weston? But yeah, right now it's just me today. I'm doing this solo. The boys got things going on, and I can respect that. Of course, absolutely. It's also my brother's birthday, by the way. I sent him a message a couple hours ago, wishing him a happy birthday. It's funny enough, last year me and my brother were in Peru for his birthday, and it was a good trip. We got to do one. We got to do another one again. So hopefully down the road, we'll do another trip. Me and my brother. He's almost getting into the 50s, but if you ask him, he'll tell you, "Bitch, I'm 30." So he says. Okay, but outside of that, look, there's a couple of stuff to talk about here. We do have Grand Slam, AEW's Grand Slam to talk about. We do also have to discuss what happened over on WWE Vengeance Day, NXT PLE, but they're calling it now WWE Vengeance Day. So there's that also. And of course, what we saw on Tuesday night on NXT with the debut of Ricky Stark. But if you notice, they're not calling him that. They're not even identifying him with that name. And people are in panic. People are losing their minds as we speak because of it. And I'll give my thoughts as well on the latest induction into the WWE Hall of Fame as well, and all that fun stuff. If you have questions for me, feel free to drop in your question down below in the chat below and let me know. And again, I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I think it's about that time, folks.
Let's fucking go.
Let's get into this, shall we? So I did watch both Grand Slam, and I did watch also as well Vengeance Day. I thought both shows were very good for the most part. I thought both shows were good. If you ask me which one I'm giving the upper hand, if you're asking me who I thought had the better show, I will say this. Because they were internationally, they were in a different country, I will say Grand Slam. And the fact that they were in a different country and they got people in the building. Now, granted, look, I know a lot of people will tell you, oh, no, the Vengeance Day was a better show. And that's fine, too. You have the right to your opinion at the end of the day. I thought both shows were good. Through and through, I thought both shows were good at the end of the day. Which one do you guys want me to start first? Do you want me to start first with Vengeance Day, or do you want me to start off with Grand Slam? Let me know in the chat. Which show do you want me to start with first? Let me know in the chat. I will tell you this, though. Cage match was fair to both shows. It was very, very fair. Grand Slam Australia got an 8.26 out of 10, while NXT got an 8.17 out of 10. So technically, they both were close to the most part. So that's good at the end of the day. That is good. But let me know in the chat, who do you want me to start off with first? Hey, Steve, do you think we'll see Miro tonight or back on Friday night? Well, he is, to my understanding, Miro is booked for a show in Qatar for later on, I think in March, I think he's booked for, to my understanding. I just want to make sure I get this right. But yeah, Miro recently left AEW. He will be set to appear at Qatar Pro Wrestling's Super Slam 3 event, which will go down on February 21st and 22nd from the Aspire Ladies Sports Hall in Qatar. So there's that. He is taking independent booking, which we'll get into in a bit. We'll get into that in a bit here as well. Okay. If you are an AEW, you should be panicking. WWE keeps picking up your talent and making them better. Plus, AEW booking isn't getting anyone over anymore. To each their own. Each their own, Weston. All right, look, you guys want me to start with NXT, so we'll get into NXT. I thought it was a good show for the most part. Some of the results, look, if going into this, I did not expect some of the results that took place to go down, to be honest with you. Other than that, they did showcase, they did show the debut of this new faction. I'm sure if you guys been watching the Tuesday show, you would have seen like these little edits and cuts that they were showing, this staticky like interruptions and stuff like that. And they debuted on the PLE on Saturday night during the tag team match between Axiom and Josh Briggs and I don't want to butcher this guy's name, but Yoshiki Inamura. Right? They came out and they attacked the tag team champions, and then later on in the night they showed up again and they attacked Obafemi after defending the NXT championship. I'll be honest with you, and I said this on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw the tweet or not. I don't know if you guys saw the tweet, but I posted this on my Twitter account, and I posted it as a joke. Okay, so I am happy that a lot of you got the joke. You got it. And I'm happy for that because, again, we live now in this day and age where everybody wants to be sensitive, just like some of the wrestlers in certain companies. But that's no here or there. I basically posted and tweeted literally on Saturday night, damn, Aces and Eights made their WWE NXT debut. Man, TNA's letting everybody show up at NXT because the four guys who showed up with their little mask and stuff, they resembled the Aces. And look, I know people will say Retribution, and that's fine. But for me, they showed up and they resembled early days of Aces and Eights. Now, if you watch TNA back in 2012, 2013, when the Aces and Eights were just debuting, you will see that, they back in the day, Aces and Eights they had their faces covered up. They had like the little Scully mat with the skull in the front of the mask, right? So they had their voices changed, so you wouldn't know who they were. Once they unmasked, you found out who they were and stuff. And this faction, that's how they resembled early day Aces and Eights, right? And yes, one of the masks did fall off on one of them, so that was kind of funny. Arturo writes here, Vaquer Sangre in the Monte y Guerrera. Yeah, that's what's up, brother. Appreciate that. But yeah, let's get into NXT. Let's get into this shit. Overall, I thought it was a good show. Like I mentioned before, Cage Match gave this rating an 8.17 out of 10. They were in Washington. They're at the Care First Arena. They had about 3,000 people and 3,000 plus people in the building. The show opened up with Stephanie Vaquer versus Fallon Henley for the Women's North American Championship. I thought the match, for the most part, was very good. They are very over for Stephanie Vaquer. The crowd loves Stephanie Vaquer. And to be fair, Fallon Henley as well did her thing here. I felt like both women had a very good chemistry for the most part. It's crazy to think, like, again, Fallon Henley, she is part of the of that faction who, again, I'm not familiar with because I don't really watch that much of the Tuesday show, to be honest with you. But I'm just trying to get the name right here. Oh, what's her faction name here? Let me know in the chat. All right, guys, help me out here. What's her name of her faction in NXT here? But it's basically JC Jane, Jasmine Nix, and Fallon Henley. Let me know in the chat if you guys just let me know the name. If you guys know the name, there you go. The Fatal Influence. There you go. Since being part of this Fatal Influence, again, she's been making some buzz. She won the title and stuff, but it's been here and there, right? But the match itself, it was good for the most part. And of course, as you expect, Stephanie Vaquer did pick up the W, as I expected. I would have not been surprised if they would have gone with the, let's surprise people. Let's give Fallon Henley a win, because I feel like, honestly, Vaquer winning was predictable. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Let me be clear. I'm not saying this in a bad way. I thought her winning, cool, awesome. right? Uh, there you go. Fallon buena luchadora. I'm going to translate in English in a sec here, okay? For those of you who may not understand Spanish. Fallon, buena luchadora. Le he venido bien junto a Vaquer, profesionales. Eso es la final lo que vende. Fallon is a good wrestler. She sold very well with the Kerr professionals, but at the end, it was what it was. Absolutely, 100%. But I felt like at the end of the day, look, the match itself was good for what it was. Good way to kick off the show. And look, some would say predictable, but I would have loved a little bit of surprise. But let's see where they go from here. Because if you saw the ending of NXT Vengeance Day, you kind of know where they're kind of going with regarding the titles and stuff, right? So good for Stephanie Vaquer. And as a Peruvian, I will say, como peruano, I will say this: congrats to Chile. You finally have a champion you can be proud of. So there you go. Let's move on here. We do have the tag team title match between Axiom and Nathan Frazier going up against Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. Let me just say this overall. I thought this was probably the match of the night for sure. 100%. This tag team match delivered in all aspects, right? Just crazy back and forth. And I'm amazed too how the fact that, WWE, yes, we do know about this tag. We do know about this relationship they have with TNA, right? Through NXT. Some of the talent are coming through and vice versa. And the fact that also they have someone from Pro Wrestling Noah on excursion right now in NXT. To me, that's crazy. And I don't mean crazy in a bad way. Crazy, like, I can't believe it. Like, if you would have told me years ago, like 2 years ago, that this will be happening, I would have not believed you. Hell no. Hell no. Or my bad, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I would have not believed you. What? They're going to be doing excursion? They're going to allow talent to do excursion in NXT? What? Gay? Can't believe it, but it's happening. And Inamura, at the end of the match, he got a reaction from the crowd. The crowd was very behind him. It's crazy to think that, Josh Briggs ditched one tag team to go to another tag team. And good for him. Good for him. Do you see a triple threat for both women's title at the end of the deliver? We might give him 10. Let me get 10 in a bit. All right, Alan, let me get 10 in a little bit. But for the most part, just a good back and forth. But when it was all said and done, Fraxium did pick up the W. They did, and good for them. This was arguably, in my opinion, the match of the night. Hands down, this was the match of the night, for me at least. And after the match, the dudes in masks came out and they attacked Fraxium. So we'll see where that goes. I know one of the masks came off, right? But be that as it may, we'll see where things progress down the line here. From there, we had Eddie Thorpe versus Trick Williams in a strap match. I'll be honest, no bueno. Not saying like, oh my God, get this shit away from me. No, what I'm saying is the match just really did not get to that level of, oh my God, excitement where, oh my God, I'm going crazy for this. Like, I feel like honestly, this match did not need no stipulation of this kind, considering, the time of the month of the month that we're in right now, right? You really want to do a strap match? Like, what are we doing, Shawn Michaels? What are we doing? For real. It's ridiculous. Be that as it may, look, I just felt like this past Saturday night was not their night. I do feel like if they run a match on a different night, on a different occasion, whatever the fuck it may be, it'll be a different result. Not saying whoever won, but the match quality will be better. I just felt like, hey, maybe one of them had an off night. And to be fair, these two were not the only ones who had an off night. Let's be clear on that. I was shocked by the result. I was shocked that Eddie Thorpe won. But at the same time, and I also love to, I found this crazy that they pointed the camera at folks who were in shock in the building when it happened. But I will say this, at one hand, yes, it's like, what? You're gonna give it to Eddie Thorpe. On the other hand, it's like, it would have been so predictable for Trick Williams to go out there and win. It would have been. And he wins here, then what? You put him back in the mix for the NXT title? Are we really clamoring for Trick Williams and Obafemi to go at it again for the title? No, I'm not. I don't know about you, but I'm sure as hell ain't. At least Eddie Thorpe winning here, you can build to a rematch. Is it at Stand and Deliver? I doubt it. Maybe, hey, at that Roadblock show coming up in New York, maybe, or for future date on television on NXT on Tuesday, for sure. Build to a rematch, and we'll see what happens. But nevertheless, I do like the fact in a way that they threw that curveball at you. You did not expect Eddie Thorpe to get a win, so there was that. From there, just fix these real quick. We had Ethan Page and Javon Evans. I thought this was a very fun match too. The story here was that Ethan Page literally shattered Javon Evans' jaw, and that's why Javon Evans had to wear a mouthpiece throughout the match. And the match, for the most part, look, I thought the story they were telling here was good. Javon Evans fighting with emotion, and that is what cost him. The fact that he fought with emotion, and Ethan Page was able to collect and pick up the scraps and get the win. And this is what happens. Look, man, when you fight with emotion, even in MMA, even in combat sports, boxing or MMA, when you fight with emotion, it will come and cost you. And Javon Evans, look, man, WWE, at the end of the day, like they are invested in Javon Evans. It's clear. And he's gonna be fine. That being said, yeah, he didn't win here, but you can build to a rematch as well. There's more to the story. You can just tell this is more than just one match. This feud, at least, is more than just one match. So there's that too. From there, we did have Obafemi versus Austin Theory versus Grayson Waller in a triple threat for the NXT title. AKA, look, we have nobody for Obafemi to defend the title against on this roster right now. We have nobody, literally nobody. Okay. Our men's division right now is in the mud in NXT to the point where we have to bring in two folks from the main roster who, let's face it, let's just tell it like it is. Or are they really going to win the NXT title? No. But they're going to go out there and bump around and make Obafemi look good. I'm not saying he looks bad. Like, bro, Obafemi is him. He's a fucking monster out there. No doubt about it. But at the end of the day, they have nobody set up for him to defend the title against. But we got to have the champion on the show and defend the title. So let's bring in two folks from the main roster that the crowd will get behind, right? Two former NXT alumni in their own right? And the match was okay for what it was. Fine, solid, title defense that you knew Obafemi was going to win. And he did. And there was a moment in the match where you thought, oh, look, Austin Theory might get the win, right? And then the referee gets pulled by Grayson Waller, and they're teasing as well this split between Grayson and Austin Theory, which I just don't see happening anytime soon. But hey, it is what it is. Trick is definitely getting called up after that loss. Do you really want that for him, though? Be honest. Do y'all really want that for him right now? Let's just keep it a buck. I don't think it's right now at the right time. I don't think he's ready for main roster. I don't think he's not. I don't think he's ready, to be honest. But that's just me, of course. Like the guy. Good talent. Good entrance. Then the bell rings. Yeah. But nevertheless, Obafemi did get the win. And after, the guy with the mask again, Ace and Eights, showed up. And they attacked Obafemi. And they laid him out. And they did one of them did like a launching power bomb on Obafemi. Good visual. But being that who's going to sign a contract tomorrow, I think that might, throw a little spice in the men's division, which we'll get into in just a sec here, all right? Before I I talk about Grand Slam. Okay. We then had the main event. We had Julia defending the NXT Women's title against Bayley and Cora Jade, who was added to this match, and Roxanne Perez. This was a very good match. Good fatal four-way, right? Some were saying that, Bayley was off, man. Bayley was botching all over the place. Be that as it may, you know what? You have a right to that statement. But let me say this. This goes to all of you out there who are saying, oh, Bayley was botching. Bayley was off. Did you not realize the schedule that woman had? Monday, she was on Monday Night Raw going up against Lyra Valkyria to earn a spot in the Elimination Chamber. Friday night, on Valentine's Day, she was in the Celebrity All-Star Game. I saw her playing up and down the court, doing her thing, right? And then she had to fly across the country again to wrestle in this fatal. My bad. I missed a day. I missed a fucking day. Right? Oh my God, I'm so dumb in this part. She wrestled on Monday, right, against Lyra Valkyria. Tuesday, she wrestled Cora Jade, right? And then Friday, Valentine's Day, NBA Celebrity All-Star Game. And then Saturday, Fatal 4-Way. And you guys want to get back, she was botching shit. Fuck's wrong with y'all? Just saying. I'm just saying. Remember all that I just mentioned right now when it comes to Bayley and Saturday night. I want to see one of y'all do that. Just saying. Be that as it may, I kind of knew the result as it was going to happen. Like, I kind of had a feeling that Julia was going to retain. And look, everyone did their part for the most part. And obviously, Julia did retain. And after the match, Stephanie Vaquer came out, and you saw that picture, right? You see the visual of both. Like, if you've seen the thumbnail right now, both women holding on to their titles and stuff, right? If you watch that visual of both women with their titles, right? And you see Stephanie Vaquer staring at the NXT Women's title. And I love they did this too. Like, they did the whole lower third, right? And then you hear the song of Jordynne Grace, because it was reported that Jordynne Grace, who signed the WWE, right? We found out that she is officially now part of the NXT roster. Now, I said this a while ago when the report came out that she was coming to WWE, that look, she just goes to main roster right away. She already did her time in NXT. However, I had a change of thought on that. And I kind of mentioned this, I think it was last week, but I'll mention it again. And this also implies to Ricky Starks too. Okay. Right now, they are already in the process of planning out WrestleMania. So the fact that we will just add in Jordynne Grace, no. They also have to prepare themselves, that being NXT, for Stand and Deliver. And I'm pretty sure, from the looks of it, they will probably do a triple threat match for both titles. That being the North American Women's title and the NXT Women's title. And they're going to probably do Julia versus Stephanie Vaquer versus Jordynne Grace. I will say this. I feel like Stephanie Vaquer gets more of a reaction than Julia. I think they're both great for the most part. But then you add Jordynne Grace into the mix. Look, that could be potentially the match of WrestleMania weekend. Just saying. Just never know. Right? But overall, I thought Vengeance Day was a good show. Through and through, it was a good show for the most part. Before I get into the talk of AEW Grand Slam, I do want to mention this real quick. Yes, on Tuesday, Ricky Starks showed up on NXT. Now, it was reported on Monday that Tony Khan has granted the releases of not only Ricky Starks, but also Miro and Malachi Black. Now, you knew when that news hit, it was only a matter of time for Ricky Stark to show up on WWE programming. And boy, he did not hesitate. And look, it was literally during an episode of NXT, unannounced, right? Just literally unannounced. He shows up through the crowd, and Vic Joseph reacted the way that he did. And I think, look, for the most part, did he overdo it a little bit? Yes, I will say that. But I think at the same time, Vic Joseph was reacting, I guess, the same way any of us who were watching at home or watching, who were there live in the building, would have reacted to this moment of Ricky Stark showing up. And he cuts the promo. Oh, you all know who I am. And if NXT is the future of pro wrestling, then I want to be here. That the Revolution will be televised. But I want you to notice they did not mention his name at all. They did not identify him as Ricky Starks, as we all know who he is. They even aired a video of like a promo, if you will, on Saturday's PLE of Ricky Stark. Once again, not identifying himself as Ricky Starks, but he announced that he'll be signing his NXT contract tomorrow on NXT. So there you have it. Now, I know a lot of people were probably saying too, oh, why is he going to NXT? Why not main roster? I even suggested, I don't know if y'all remember this or not. I suggested, you know what? Let him show up on the main roster. Let him show up on the main roster Raw after Mania. That would have been something. But this is not bad either. Him going to NXT, I'll be honest, is best case scenario. You're probably saying to yourselves, how so? Let me explain. You see, like I mentioned earlier with Jordan Grace, they are already the WWE right now, they are already in the process of building up, again, of the WrestleMania and all that stuff, right? They already have ideas of what to do for WrestleMania. You put Ricky Starks right now on the main roster, look, just another guy on the roster. But you put him in NXT, he can be the guy in NXT. And like I mentioned earlier, the men's division in NXT, it's kind of in the mud. The women's division in NXT is Gucci right now. The men's, could use a little lift. And that's where Ricky Starks comes in. And like I mentioned before, I am for certain they are going to stack that card for Stand and Deliver. You already have Jordan Grace. You already have Stephanie Vaquer. You have Julia, right? You have now Ricky Starks on the roster. You're going to, this could be, again, the show of WrestleMania weekend. In my humble opinion, it could very well be. And look, for all we know, we could see Ricky Starks versus Obafemi. We could very well see that. We don't know. Just don't know what they're going to probably do, but we'll see. I'm intrigued to see what they're going to do. And I'm pretty sure as well, you know what, with Stand and Deliver, they might have some TNA influence as well. They might have some TNA influence happening as well. When you think about it, they might also have some TNA influence as well on that show. Because once again, they are partnered with TNA. Yes, Stand and Deliver is going to be stacked. It is. Man, I would love to see Oba versus Moose as Stand and Deliver for the NXT title. Could very well possibly be. You just don't know. The men's division has to be kind of handicapped since Oba is champ, because when he loses the title, Oba is going to the main roster. Yeah, maybe so. We'll see, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon. I just don't see it happening. I think Obafemi has at least another year in NXT, and then we can have these discussions about him main roster, but we'll see. But I mentioned TNA just moments ago. It was announced also over the week as well that TNA will have their presence felt WrestleMania weekend. They'll be heading to Las Vegas for Unbreakable, which will be going live April 17th. They'll be live from the COX Pavilion in Las Vegas. So this show, again, will also be live on the TNA Plus app as well, which, from my understanding, as far as the boys, like what we're doing that weekend, that's probably in the plans for WrestleMania weekend. And it's a TNA show, so I want to see what the vibe is like. So there's that too. So just to let you guys know what's going on WrestleMania weekend. Look, there's so much shit to do WrestleMania weekend besides outside the WWE stuff. Let me just point that out, okay? But now let's get into, I want to break one more news before we get into the talk of Grand Slam, okay? Before we get into the talk of Grand Slam, I want to talk about one more thing here. It was also announced over the week, the latest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame, and that is none other than Michelle McCool. She'll be joining Triple H in the Hall of Fame ceremony, happening most likely the Friday after SmackDown. And look, good for her, man. Congratulations. I think, you know what? She's a multi-time women's champion. When I think of Michelle McCool, I think of Lay Cool. Would have been nice to have both Lay Cool inducted. Yeah, for sure. Why not? I know some people will be like, oh, why? You know, they're putting anybody in now. Yeah, look, it's their Hall of Fame. They can put whoever the fuck they want into their Hall of Fame. But look, man, she's a multi-time women's champion. She is well deserving of being put in the Hall of Fame. But like I mentioned before, it's kind of crazy because I do recall this past week they also did an interview of her with Chris Van Vliet, and she did say that she wants to go in with Layla. Now, mind you, you got to keep this in mind too. We don't know how long was that interview recorded. So it could have been a couple weeks ago, what have you. And Chris had it in the can ready to go. And just so happens that when he uploaded that interview, a day later or so, they announced that Michelle McCool is going to Hall of Fame. I would love for Layla to induct her. Okay, but we'll see. But good for her. Wish they made an announcement ahead of time. I would love to watch TNA live, but I've already booked my days with the employer. Oh, what the? Oh, Chief. Oh, man. I mean, they kind of did. I mean, they announced this, I think, was it Thursday or so? But yeah, we'll talk about this. We'll discuss it. But be that as it may as well. Now let's get into this. Now let's get into Grand Slam. Grand Slam was also on Saturday night, late night, like around 10:40-ish, around there. Now, mind you, look, would have been nice for this show to have happened early in the day, like live when it happened at 2 a.m. or whatever the fucking time it was in Australia. Absolutely. Streaming on Max. There are some sickos out there who stay up all night. You know, I'm just saying, there's some folks who do stay up all night to watch New Japan and all that stuff, and DDT and Stardom and Joshi Mabob, whatever. There are people who do it. They would have no problem would have stayed up to watch Grand Slam. No doubt about it. But be that as it may, they chose to air this 22 hours later on Max, and I think also on TNT, what have you, after the NBA All-Star Saturday night for the lead-in and stuff like that. Now, they said 10:30 p.m. It didn't air till like 10:45 or 10:40-ish, around there, for whatever reason. Right? Look, I will say this, is because I saw pictures early in the day of the venue, people that were there. And look, they were able to get about 10,000 plus people in that building. So good for them. Good for them. Happy to see that for them. But let's not ignore the fact that this show was originally supposed to be at Suncorp Stadium. They were supposed to be originally in Suncorp Stadium. To my understanding, that building holds about 52,500 people in that stadium. So they probably would have gone 50,000 people in that building. But nonetheless, things happened. They couldn't get tickets to move, so they had to move it to another building, right? 13,000, and to a point where they had to do a buy two, get one free or whatever the fuck it was. But nevertheless, they got 10,000 plus people in the building. So congratulations for them on that. That being said, I also saw photos of the ring. And look, to my understanding, they chose not to ship out their own ring. WWE did it for Chamber. They shipped out their ring and the parts of the Chamber. Remember when Chamber was in Australia? Was it last year or so? Yeah. They shipped out their own ring to Australia months in advance, parts of the Chamber and all that stuff. I think there was a story that it almost got, I guess, confiscated by pirates and shit. Be that as it may, should have AEW done the same thing? You know what? Ship out their ring in advance? Yes. I feel like they should have, right? Tony Khan has the funds to do it. Why didn't he do it? To my understanding, they rented out a ring from an indie promoter, whatever the fuck it was. I even saw Buddy Matthews rolled his ankle in his entrance. He rolled his fucking ankle in the entrance when he wrestled Okada. And he still managed to pull through in the match. To the point where Buddy Matthews posted on Twitter, so after this hashtag AEW Grand Slam Australia, if it wasn't a 16x16 shit wrestling ring, one, I wouldn't have destroyed my ankle on my entrance due to holes in the padding. Two, Okada wouldn't have been able to out his foot on the rope and IB champion. Shit happens. That's what he posted on Twitter. And then he deleted the tweet. Tony Khan probably got to his ear like, hey, bro, delete that tweet, pal. JD estimated the cost to ship the ring would have been $25K. Come on, TK, you got money. He does. And he's not wrong on that. He's not wrong on that. JD is not wrong on that. That being said, I thought the show, for the most part, was a good show. Outside of the ring stuff, because look, man, to me, at the end of the day, it's wrestling. It's pro wrestling at the end of the day. Yeah, did the ring look silly? Yes, I noticed some stuff. Like, there's a spot in the opening match where Kyle Fletcher, instead of, when he got hit with a move, when Kyle Fletcher, normally you would roll under the bottom rope. He rolled on top of the bottom rope. I noticed that in the term, but be that as it may, bruh, it's pro wrestling at the end of the day. Okay. So we did start off with the tag team match between Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher. I thought this was the match of the night. Fun opener. These guys went out there and they killed it. Obviously, Ospreay got a big reaction in Australia. Omega came out to his new theme song. It's fine for the most part. The match itself was good, like I mentioned before, back and forth. But when it was all said and done, they did a combination of the hidden blade with the one-winged angel on Konosuke Takeshita, and Kenny Omega pins Konosuke Takeshita. To my understanding, when that happens, you're next in line for a title match. So to me, Kenny Omega is next in line for the International Championship. But for whatever reason, they're doing this like international championship series on Dynamite coming up, Bruce. I think this Wednesday. It starts this Wednesday. It's going to be Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy. Why are we doing it? I have no clue. No fucking clue. To me, your match of Revolution should be Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita. That's your match. I don't give a fuck. That is your match for Revolution for that title. And also factor in that, hey, Konosuke has 2 wins over Omega. When you think about it. So, yeah, why not? I honestly didn't even know Buddy got injured until he posted on IG the following day. He wrestled like everything was good. Yes, true professional. But yeah, there's videos surfacing online where he like hopped over the top rope, and when he landed, he rolled his ankle. I saw the visual of it. It's nasty. It's a nasty look. Look, I've been through it before. I've rolled my ankle before. It sucks. It really sucks. And in their case, you have to wrestle on that. Oh, bro. Like I remember there was a story, was it WrestleMania 31, Bray Wyatt rolled his ankle in the entrance, like practicing his entrance, and he went on to wrestle The Undertaker with a fucked up ankle. So yeah, man, it happens. But obviously, to me, again, the match of the night, hands fucking down. We did have after this Mercedes Moné and Harley Cameron. Look, it was as good as it was going to be for the most part. Obviously, the crowd reacted for Harley Cameron. She got the big, hometown, pop. And shout outs to Harley Cameron. Shout outs to her. She really, look, in the short time, right, that she's doing this whole puppet thing and all that stuff, singing, she got herself over. And that's what's up. Mercedes Moné gave her the match of her career so far because she still has a lot to, in the tank and all that stuff, right? And I will say, should the day ever come that Harley Cameron ever retires, years from now, whatever that may be, you owe Mercedes Moné an edible arrangement basket. Just saying. Harley should have won. I disagree with that. And here's why. You kind of had to know going in. Harley Cameron is not winning that title. She got the reaction. She got the near falls, right? For the most part. But the idea of her winning the title, then what? What do you do after? You could tell me, they could have her do like that short win, right? Again, but she's already a star, though. You make a star as she wins. She's already over. There's cases in wrestling where a loss does more for you than a win. Look at Daniel Bryan in 2012 when he lost to Sheamus in 18 seconds. That loss did more for him in his career than had he would have won and had a long match and stuff like that, right? For Harley Cameron, look, man, she didn't win, but the loss did more for her than a win would have done. So that being said, look, Mercedes got into a good match. The crowd was hot for Harley Cameron. I just hope, for AEW's sake, they continue that momentum. Because let's be honest, do I trust them in giving them the momentum? Honestly, no, I do not. I do not. And their track record proves it. I hope this time I am wrong. I just don't want Monet to win the belt. She's already had the belt, though. So even if you mean retain the title, yeah, I get that. But still, I mean, at the end of the day, look, Tony Khan, Mercedes Moné is like her. How do I put this? Tony Khan is investing so much money into Mercedes Moné. You're not Wardlow, cuz. Yeah, good question. Yeah, exactly. Look at Wardlow. Everyone thought Wardlow after Double or Nothing 2020 was 2022, right? After beating MJF, we're off to the races with Wardlow. Look where he's at now. Nowhere to be seen. Nowhere to be seen. But at the end of the day, look, Mercedes Moné right now, he got the money from Tony Khan. She can do whatever she wants. And look, she not only does she have an AEW TBS title, she also has the New Japan Strong Women's title. She has the Rev Pro, and she hasn't even been to Rev Pro yet. But once she goes to the UK, bro, it's good. Those tickets are gonna sell like hotcakes, bro. Yeah, Wardlow's injured, but even after the injury, they're not gonna still use him. So yeah. But I get she was walking advertisement for AEW, so I get why she's champ. Makes sense. Exactly, bro. You gotta see the vision, man. But look, good for Harley Cameron, dude. Good for her. She had a good performance. It meant a lot to her. But I do hope for AEW's sake, they continue that momentum with Harley Cameron. I doubt they will, but I hope I'm proven wrong this time. I hope. Why does Mercedes get hate? She's good in the ring. She's good in the ring. It's just her. It's her. How do I put this? What she does outside, what she does when the bell hasn't rung, it's cringeworthy. When you think about it, she got when she signed, everyone thought, "Oh my God, the women's division was going to be shaken. It's going to get this new. It's a game changer, right? Y'all better watch out." And it hasn't really felt that way. It's felt the same. To be fair, it was at full. What was it? Was it at It was World's End that Mercedes and Chris Statlander went to like a 20-minute match. That was the longest women's match in AEW. They had a Mercedes Moné. So she's getting that pull, but even that, like her segments, promos, and stuff like that, it's been cringe. And then how she acts on social media, at the same time, it's been cringe. So that's why I feel like fans give her that hate. She gets hate for her out of the ring slander. That too, towards her former employer, that being the Fed, WWE. Hey, it is what it is. Look, you got to understand this too. She's gonna feel this way because obviously TK is throwing her the bag, and for her, you throw her the bag, you'll make her say anything, literally. From there, we had the Death Riders of Claudio and Jon Moxley versus Jay White and Adam Copeland. I love the fact that the crowd in Australia were singing Adam Copeland's theme song, even once the song was over. Bro, right here, man. Right fucking here, man, when that happened. I ain't gonna lie to you. Man, in the feels, bro. In the fucking feels, bro. And you could tell Cope, like, he could have easily broken down right there, but he's like, yeah, let's fucking go. And the match itself, it was there. I'll be honest with you. I think we can all agree the faster they get that belt off Jon Moxley, the better off they will be. That being said, again, it was a Brisbane, was it a Brisbane street fight? That's what they're calling it? Yeah. The Brisbane brawl match. So basically they were all outside the ring. There were weapons being used and stuff like that. So there was that. What surprised me was the fact that Jon Moxley got the win on Adam Copeland, of all people. That's what surprised me. Because I'm now under the impression that at Revolution, it's going to be Adam Copeland versus, again, we already know it's Moxley versus Copeland for the title of Revolution. Are you telling me that Jon Moxley might end up losing to Adam Copeland? I mean, look, I said this already. Let's get that title off the Death Rider. Let's put this Death Rider story to pasture, right? Let's put an end to this, right? But at the same time, let's be honest here. Do we really want to see Adam Copeland be the one to take that title off of Jon Moxley? Exactly, Spaloo. I agree. Darby should be the one, but Darby, for whatever reason, has, in his mind, there are more important things to do than, being a pro wrestler, being paid to wrestle. He's choosing to risk his life and climb Mount fucking Everest. And everyone knows at the end of the day, everyone fucking knows.
That risky.
Yeah, fucking risky as all hell. But he's willing to fucking do it. But at the same time, we just can't wait. So at this point, either what I think happens is potentially Cope wins the title and then Christian Cage cashes in. How fitting would that be? Fuck yeah. Fuck it. Even though I prefer it be an AEW original, because you want to believe that, yo, whoever takes that title off of Jon Moxley, that person's going to be made. Problem is, though, who do you do it to? Who? Right? That's the thing. It feels like Tony doesn't have trust in his own locker room, his own OGs, that he has to rely on the former, Fed people. Cope versus Darby would be cool. Yes, but let's not forget that Darby right now isn't even around. So there's that too. From there, we did have Okada versus Buddy Matthews. Again, I'm not going in any order. I'm just going by the way it's here on Cage Match. Yeah, look, man, we saw what happened with Buddy Matthews. His ankle rolled and stuff, and he pulled through. Just a good back and forth match for the most part. There are moments where you literally thought that Buddy Matthews could have won, right? And I think people in the building probably thought the same thing too. I don't know why. When you look back, was it a couple of months ago when Kenny Omega returned? They had Okada and Omega stare at each other. I think it was at World's End. They're staring at each other, and it just so happens that the All In Texas logo was behind them in that camera view, right? They didn't just do that for no reason. They did it for a purpose. That at All In Texas is going to be Okada and Omega for that title. And a lot of you expect these two guys to go out there and it's 2017 all over again. I got news for you. That's not going to happen. They'll get a fraction of what they did in 2017. But for Dave Meltzer, it'll still be a 5-star match. It probably will be for the most part. But be that as it may, look, man, Okada got the win as I expected. If you really thought that Buddy Matthews was going to go out there and win the title from Okada,
congratulations.
You've been worked. You've been worked. I also want to point out, too, Rhea Ripley was actually in the building for this, too. She was in the building. So there is that. That's what's up. Being supportive wife. Good for her. Good for her. After this, Okada, man, I love that entrance. Don't we all? Love that entrance, too. That little lighting and shit. I thought it slapped. I really did. But after this, we did get the main event. Timeless Tony Storm versus Mariah May in the rematch from All In London. I thought for the most part, it was a good match. I felt like both women here did their shit that they had to do, get their spots in, got their moments in. Luther made an appearance too. I'll be honest, I thought going into this that Mariah May would retain. But then again, they decided to put the belt back on Timeless Tony Storm, which again, she's in her home country. At least let's give one Australian a win here. If it's not going to be Kyle Fletcher, because let's be real, you really thought Kyle Fletcher was going to get the win for his team, even though his team won. Well, no, technically, yeah, his team lost, obviously. He couldn't be the one to get pinned. We can't pin the Australian in Australia, even though Buddy Matthews got pinned later on in the night. But no, we're not going to, he's not. But, again, Kyle Fletcher's not going to win. Harley Cameron's not going to win. You kidding me? Buddy Matthews ain't winning. But we got to give an Australian a win in Australia. And obviously the best scenario is Tony Storm. Why not? She got the win. Oh boy, Twitter has still been infested with Tony Storm versus Mariah. People, though, thought she was gonna pull out that gear again. Oh, you mean like the Mariah May gear? Yeah, hair would have been flying all over the place for the most part. But be that as it may, look, Timeless Tony Storm is once again the AEW Women's World Champion. I do think, though, look, one more match, Revolution, that's it. You put a bow on this feud. Put an end to this feud. Time to move on. It's over. You know? Didn't like that finish, to be honest. Yeah, you're not the only one. There's a lot of people who didn't like the finish, but at the same time, it's like, yo, we got to give one Australian a win on this show, so be it. So there was that. Also announced on the show that Will Ospreay is challenging Kyle Fletcher to a cage match at Revolution. So there's that too. But again, for the most part, I thought Revolution was a very good show. Out of the two shows, I enjoyed both, but I'll give the nod to Grand Slam Australia for the most part. Before I wrap this up, I do want to mention one more piece of news here. It was announced during the week. Josh Alexander is expected to be signing with AEW. Now, I know a lot of people are going to hear that and say, oh, what? Come on, man. It's afraid of the grind and stuff like that. I get it. I understand. Okay. I'll be honest. I feel like AEW fits him perfect. In my opinion. Also, let's factor this in. I don't know how many of you are aware of this or not, but he did state in previous interviews that being him, Josh Alexander, wants to wrestle in the G1. He wants to participate in the G1 tournament that takes place in New Japan Pro Wrestling every summer, right? He wants to participate in that tournament. Now, by him going to AEW, there's a chance for him to do so without signing with New Japan Pro Wrestling. So, if that happens, so be it. Let it be it. Take the money, Josh Alexander. Family first. And obviously, let's factor this in too. I'm sure Tony Khan is willing to throw the bag at him. More money than whatever WWE will throw at him. And look, would any of us love to see the North reunite again? Absolutely. 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 Right? But let's also factor this in as well. Josh Alexander right now, let me see something real quick here. Josh Alexander is 37 years old. Okay? And he's already in his, and again, I can't speak for the guy, but I'm under the impression that for him, look, he's already done all the crazy bombs and all the other stuff. So now he just wants to get paid. So I'm fine with that. If he wants to go to AEW to wrestle in the G1, so be it. So be it. That's the beauty of free agency these days. Wrestlers have more leverage now with AEW in the picture. Yeah. Ask Randy Orton how that went for him. So it's only a matter of time. Now, that's the word going around, but for all we know, he is having discussions with promotions, right? Just like Will Ospreay did, just like Okada did, right? Just like Mercedes did, right? Now, I hope, look, if you give Josh Alexander, bro, Tony Khan, do not fuck this up. Do not fuck this one up. Do I think he will? Most likely. I've even heard some folks say, oh, you better learn to, Josh Alexander better learn to speak, Don Callis family and shit like that, which could very well happen. Could very well take place. But time will tell. I just hope they don't keep him in paywall of honor. I hope so either. I pray, please don't put this guy in a ring. Please don't relegate this man in a ring of honor. But yeah, man, that's basically it, man. That's all I got for you guys. Want to thank you guys for tuning in as always. Much love to all of you. You guys are awesome as always. Fucking hell. You guys are fucking awesome. Love each and every one of you. We'll be back tomorrow with the Raw Rundown. Be myself and Chase. We'll be talking about everything that's going down tonight on Monday Night Raw. And then obviously Wednesday, it is sad. Something about Dynamite, the AEW watch along that we do here on the channel. If you are a ATP channel member, you get to join us on these live watch alongs. That's right. How can you become a channel member, you may ask? It's simple. Hit that join button next to the subscribe button. Hit that join button. It's only $2.99, okay? It's only $2.99. Come on. $2.99. Okay? You get all the perks such as, we'll just put the graphic up here just in fucking case because, too sorry. You get priority reply to comments. You get to be part of the ATP gaming roster. Whenever we do the throwback watch along, which we'll be doing one very, very soon. All right. You get to join us for that. And as well, something about Dynamite. And from time to time, whenever we decide to do special members only streams, you get to join us for all that and all that fun stuff. Okay. Speaking of ATP gaming, this Thursday, it is ATP for the culture. The entire card, it will be booked by CPZ. Some would say he is the Armor King. I don't know, but he's booking the show. All right. So now you know. Okay. But yeah, guys, much love to all of you guys. You guys are awesome as always. You guys know to follow the Around the Point Network for all that fun stuff. Follow the Around the Point Network over on X at AT Network. Follow me on X at Heel Steven. Thank you all for watching. Much love to all of you. For myself and for the gang, this has been Steve's Kitchen here on the Around the Point Network.
Listen. Fuck up. Get out.